Many people fear public speaking because they're afraid of bad communication. They worry about saying the wrong thing or being misunderstood. And this fear of bad communication is one reason why so many people suffer from glossophobia. In fact, 75% of people admit to having a fear of public speaking. So if you suffer from glossophobia or the fear of public speaking, know that you are not alone. And in this video, I am going to teach you how to overcome this fear of bad communication. I'm a professional speaker and communication coach. I've been featured by Forbes as one of the top communication coaches in the world. And I've helped thousands of people just like you to become more confident communicators. Now, there are two main reasons why people have a fear of bad communication. First, they fear it because they lack confidence in their skills. Second, they fear it because they lack clarity in their message. And we're going to tackle these two problems in this exact order. First, I am going to teach you how to overcome the fear of bad communication due to a lack of confidence. And then second, I'm going to teach you how to overcome the fear of bad communication due to a lack of clarity. This framework will help you to craft your message, deliver your message, and connect with your audience. Let's start with the first step, which is crafting your message. When we craft our message, we need to first identify the main point that we want to make. What is the one thing that we want our audience to remember from our speech? We also need to consider our audience and tailor our message to their interests and needs. And finally, we need to practice our delivery. We should rehearse our speech multiple times so that we can become more familiar with the material and more comfortable with the flow of the presentation. There are 4 things that you need to do to craft your message. First, use storytelling to engage your audience and make your message more memorable. Storytelling is a powerful tool that can help you to connect with your audience on an emotional level and make your message more engaging. Stories help your audience to understand your message better by providing them with a context and relatable examples. So when you're crafting your message, think about including a story or two that will help to illustrate your points and make your message more memorable. Second, use humor to make your message more engaging and enjoyable for your audience. Humor is another powerful tool that can help you to connect with your audience and make your message more engaging. But be careful to use humor appropriately and avoid offensive or controversial jokes. Third, use rhetorical questions to engage your audience and make them think critically about your message. Rhetorical questions are questions that you ask your audience but do not expect an answer to. Instead, rhetorical questions are used to make a point or to emphasize a particular idea. For example, if you're giving a speech about the importance of education, you might ask the rhetorical question, what is the point of education? To engage your audience and make them think critically about the topic. Fourth, use inclusive language to make your audience feel welcome and respected. Inclusive language is language that makes everyone feel welcome and respected, regardless of their background or beliefs. When you use inclusive language, you send a message that everyone in the audience is valued and respected. And this can help to create a more positive and welcoming environment for your speech. Okay, let's move to the second step, which is delivering your message. You don't have to have perfect diction, pronunciation, and articulation to be an excellent speaker. You don't have to have a perfect voice or look like a supermodel to be an excellent speaker. These standards of excellence are just made up by society, and frankly, they're unrealistic expectations. So here are 4 tips to help you deliver your message with confidence and overcome the fear of bad communication. First, focus on the content of your message, not on the fear of making mistakes. When you're focused on the content of your message, you're able to connect with your audience and deliver your message more effectively. On the other hand, when you're focused on the fear of making mistakes, you're less likely to connect with your audience and more likely to stumble with your delivery. So it's important to find ways to calm your nerves and focus on your message. Some techniques that you can use to calm your nerves include taking deep breaths, practicing mindfulness, and visualizing success. Second, focus on connecting with your audience, not on being perfect. When you're focused on connecting with your audience, you're more likely to be authentic and vulnerable in your delivery. And this authenticity and vulnerability will resonate with your audience and make your delivery more engaging. So instead of trying to be perfect, focus on connecting with your audience and delivering a message that is meaningful to them. Third, focus on the impact of your message, not on the fear of judgment. When you're focused on the impact of your message, you're more likely to be passionate and enthusiastic in your delivery. And this passion and enthusiasm will be contagious. and will inspire your audience to take action. So instead of focusing on the fear of judgment, focus on the impact that your message can have on your audience. Fourth, focus on the preparation you've done, not on the fear of forgetting what to say. When you're focused on the preparation you've done, you'll be more confident in your delivery and less likely to forget what to say. So, before you give your speech, take a moment to remind yourself of all the hard work UVA put in to prepare for this moment. Visualize yourself delivering a successful speech and focus on the positive outcomes that will result from your presentation. Now, let's move to the third step, which is connecting with your audience. Now that you've crafted your message and you've delivered it with confidence, it's time to connect with your audience and make sure that they understand your message. The best way to connect with your audience is to maintain consistent eye contact with them throughout your presentation. Eye contact is an important nonverbal cue that can help you to establish a connection with your audience and make your message more persuasive. When you maintain consistent eye contact with your audience, you re-sending the message that you re-confident in your message and that you believe in what you re-saying. This confidence is contagious and will help your audience to buy into your message. And eye contact also helps to build rapport with your audience. When you look people in the eye, they are more likely to feel a sense of connection with you and more likely to trust you and your message. This rapport can help to make your presentation more engaging and more memorable. So now that you've connected with your audience, you want to ensure that they understand your message. There are 3 tips that you need to follow to make sure that your audience understands your message. First, make sure that your message is clear and concise. Use simple language and avoid technical jargon that your audience may not understand. Also, use short, declarative sentences that are easy to follow. Avoid complex sentences with multiple clauses that can be difficult to understand. Second, make sure that you pause at the right moments. Pausing can help your audience to process what you're saying and can make your message more memorable. However, it's important to know when to pause and when to keep moving. If you pause too much, your audience may lose interest. But if you don't pause at all, your audience may not have time to process what you're saying. So it's important to find the right balance. A good rule of thumb is to pause after every 2 to 3 sentences. This will give your audience time to process what you've said and will help to make your message more memorable. And finally, use nonverbal cues to reinforce your message. Nonverbal cues such as body language and facial expressions can help to reinforce your message and make it more memorable. For example, if you're giving a presentation about teamwork, you can use nonverbal cues to show how important it is to work together and support each other. You can do this by putting your hands together in a praying motion or by placing your arm around someone else's shoulder. I hope that you found this advice helpful. If you want to learn more about how to become an excellent speaker, be sure to check out my course, The Art of Excellent Speaking. In this course, I will teach you everything you need to know to become an excellent speaker. From crafting a compelling message to delivering it with confidence and connecting with your audience, I'll cover it all. So if you're ready to take your speaking skills to the next level, be sure to check out the course.